Shalom Akim, all praise to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah by Hashem Rakakadash. All right, double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone. Salute to sincere Akim out there of the hopeful elect. Okay, you know about this Brooklyn Psyop that just happened on the subway system yesterday. You know, I had a lot of people shooken up on my job, all right, because it happened when I was at work. And, you know, we received the news. You know how rumors spread instantly. You know, some Jake on the job said 26 people got killed in Brooklyn on a subway. So, you know, immediately, you know, dudes was getting all shooken up. People calling, you know, I guess the people that live in Brooklyn or whatever on the job, calling their loved ones, making sure everything is cool, you know. And, you know, with me not knowing all of the details yet, but, you know, just hearing the news, it already clicked in my mind that this is nothing but a psyops. This is nothing but, you know, something that was more than likely orchestrated in, you know, pre-planned out, in, you know, auto op KO. You know, probably they set up some patsy or some fool under mind control. And of course the news is there and they're gonna spin the whole narrative, you know, that, you know, this was a terrorist attack and, you know, this without even knowing all of the real details of what happened, you know, the background, how many victims it was, you know, the whole thing's already getting spent out of control. All right. And now for sure, certainly they saying that the suspect is a black male, right? Who know what they're gonna say next? Maybe he was part of the Israelites or some other what they call black militant group. You know, the Hebrew Israelites were not black and were not a militant group. You know, the real brothers that's doing the work of the Lord. But you know, they try to lump us up into that category. So, you know, it wouldn't be surprising if they start saying that. But the whole point is, you know, we aware pretty much of what it's all about, gun control laws, and, you know, and to have you know, the NYPD is already its own military force. It's like a mini military force, man. You know, it came a long way from just different cops in the precincts patrolling neighborhoods, patrolling the streets and walking the beat, man. You know, now they have their own joint counterterrorism team and, you know, SWAT, and, you know, they carry assault rifles, and you know, it's just beyond out of control how much New York City, New York State is such a police state, you know. But you know, people are not aware of that, man. People are not aware of that. But, you know, for the most part, just hearing the news, it didn't click in my mind to panic or anything, because what did the Lord say, man? Matter of fact, let me get it real quick. The book of Isaiah, chapter 36. No, not 36. What I'm looking for. Matter of fact, let me get this is Isaiah chapter 60, verse 2. It says, "For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people." These people are in darkness, man. All right, these people are in total darkness. That's why, you know, these people, they panic. They believe it's terrorist. It's all about terrorism. Some lone nutcase just shot up a subway full of people, a subway train full of people during rush hour. All right, and you know, and then these people constantly believe everything that they hear on the mainstream media, and that's keeping these people in darkness. And on top of that, they don't know the main agenda of the elites that rule the society, man. The international bankers, all right, or the shadow government, okay, and, you know, people that run things behind the scenes. They're totally not aware of it. They're oblivious to that fact. So these people are in utter darkness, man. They're in utter darkness, right? Same thing that happened with the 9/11 attacks back in 2001, okay? You got people even unto this day that believe it was just some jihadist Arab Muslims that crashed into these buildings, man, you know, on a kamikaze mission in an act of terror, you know, but not doing any research on how that was a classic demolition job, man, and it was pre-planned and pre-set up. All right. There's a saying that the Illuminati uses called auto ob chaos. All right, meaning what? They're going to create the chaos so they could bring forth the order. All right, and one of the main results that's going to probably come out of this, because of the way the media, mainstream media, is blowing it up, is that they're going to call for stiffer and tougher gun laws, as they always do when there's mass shootings throughout America. All right, so these people they're in darkness, man. They're in utter darkness. Okay, this is 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Okay, and one of the main devices of Satan is witchcraft. Okay, you know, the so-called white man was blessed with the sword, which is the gun, right? Modern day guns, missiles, bombs, and this, that, and the third, right? And the so-called white man basically took down the whole earth, or robbed and invaded and inhabited the whole earth by way of the sword, man. You know, by way of the sword, killing people, rape, robbing, and murdering people, man. Okay, but in continuance of holding on his kingdom and keeping his kingdom, it's all being done through deception and witchcraft. Because after all of the rape, robbery, and murder, he portrayed himself as being the good guy. You know, the children of God, right? The sons of God, the anointed ones. Okay, and that, you know, and he did a justice to humanity by raping, robbing, and murdering the world, man. You know, because the dark nations were basically uncivilized, especially the nation of Israel, which consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, so this is the devices of how this devil maintains his power. It's mainly through witchcraft, through sorcery, and deception. Okay, and you know, you brothers that are in the truth, through the grace and mercy of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, you know, we've woken up to that fact that this man is a devil, and he can't pull the wool back over our eyes, because we were all asleep at one time, man. You know, we were all asleep at one time, but like I said, through the grace and mercy of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, the wool has been lifted over our eyes, and we can see through the devil's tricks, man. Okay, you know, speaking of these devices of witchcraft, you have Mackenzie Scott. I don't know if you brothers are familiar with Mackenzie Scott. That's the ex-wife of the multi-billionaire Jeff Bezos. Okay, she donated $275 million recently to Planned Parenthood, and that's the biggest donation Planned Parenthood has ever received. You know, that has ever received in one shot. $275 million. Okay, look up Mackenzie Scott. You know, Jeff Bezos, you know, the CEO, owner of Amazon, multi-billionaire, his ex-wife. Okay, like I said, she donated $275 million to Planned Parenthood, and she's you know, reputed or renowned as a philanthropist. You know, and that's all deception. And you think of people, oh, they donate to this charity and donate to that charity, and, you know, for good causes. All right, so she's a philanthropist. Okay, and the word philanthropy means lover of mankind. You know, one who loves mankind, one who loves humanity. Okay, now for her to donate $275 million to Planned Parenthood, when Planned Parenthood is basically about what? Killing babies at the end of the day. You know, abortions. You know, I'm pretty sure a lot of that money is going to go to funding abortion clinics, or even, you know, building more abortion clinics. You know, funding, you know, it's all tied in with the pharmaceutical market, funding new drugs to kill babies, like, you know, like the morning after pills and such, you know, things of that such. You know, Planned Parenthood is basically the halt, the growth of the population of humans, of people, namely Israelites. Okay, because it's really all directed to the so-called black and brown people. You know, because going back to Egypt, right? I'm gonna see if I can get it real quick, if I can find it. Going back to Egypt, when we were in captivity in ancient Egypt, our people were constantly reproducing, man, during the time of them being in captivity and in slavery under the Egyptians. Okay? And it's the same thing going on today. America's modern day Egypt and so-called blacks and Hispanics, we repopulate, man. We get busy, man. All right? Uh let me see if I can find this in the book of Exodus. Okay, yeah. This is the book of Exodus chapter 1. I'll start at verse 8. The point is in verse 12. Okay, it says, now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. All right, because going back to the history when Joseph was in Egypt, he winded up first of all, it started with his brothers deceiving him and selling him into slavery to the Midianites, and he wound up in Egypt. And he wound up he wound up becoming cool with Pharaoh, by telling Pharaoh to store corn and things to prepare the Egyptians for a famine. Okay, he basically saved the Egyptians out of a famine, and the Pharaoh liked them and rose Joseph up into the ranks. So Joseph was well loved in Egypt. Okay, so it says, now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also with our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. Okay, so the more the children of Israel were afflicted, the more they grew. And it's the same scenario happening all over again here in America. Our people are in poverty, second-class citizens, not haven't received reparations, right? Being harassed and racially mocked all throughout the mainstream media, and being targeted by these trigger-happy police out here, unable to maintain families, broken households, first fired, last hired, the whole ordeal, these curses that we're suffering at the hands of the so-called white man, the modern-day Egyptians. But the more we reproduce, we're constantly, we constantly party. Even though Jake is in a terrible situation, but they always constantly partying and grooving, all right, and getting their grind on, getting their hump on, getting their freak on, man, and having babies. And the so-called white man, they want to put an end to all of this, man. That's why you have a multi-billionaire like Mackenzie Scott, all right. I believe her net worth is 46 billion, if I'm not mistaken, all right. Make a single-handedly largest donation to Planned Parenthood at $275 million, okay, $1 million. And she is Jeff Bezos' ex-wife. Here it is. She's basically donating money for you sisters, right? You Black and Latino sisters to go ahead and kill your babies, man. Okay, and saying it's a good thing. Focus on your career. Kill your babies. Don't have children. But meanwhile, she's a multi-billionaire with 4 children herself. All right? And she's Jeff Bezos' ex-wife. So in all reality, she's been married to a billionaire. She didn't have to do anything. She didn't have to work or do anything, man. She could just lay on her back and pop out as many children as she wants. Jeff Bezos, her ex-husband, he has the money to take care of the wife and the kids. Okay, she has enough money to maintain a litter of children. Okay, you see, but so-called white people are cursed. You so-called white people are cursed, man. When you got that much money and you're a female, all you got to do is please your husband and bear his children. With all that money, all she has is 4 children, and she wants to donate money for you Black and Latinos who are basically poor and dire need of help to stop having children, man. you know, to not have any kids whatsoever, especially while you're in your youth, in your womb, is still very fruitful. Okay, you know, you young sisters out there, man, you know, oh, go to college, pursue a career, don't have any babies. You know, if you you know, if you wind up getting pregnant, you know, you can always go get an abortion. You know, let's market these morning after pills and you know, things of that such, man. Okay? But don't have no children. Don't have any more children. That's how these devils operate, man. All right? And you know, I'm gonna end it with this scripture, you know, because all of that abortion, C sections, you know, gynecology, you know, all of that is in the scriptures, man. All of that is in the scriptures. This is Hosea chapter 13, verse 16. It says, Samaria shall become desolate, for she has rebelled against her power. All right. And what is Samaria? Samaria was once the capital of Ephraim in the northern kingdom of Israel. All right, so-called Puerto Ricans. Okay, but it represents the whole nation of Israel. You know, because no matter what tribe you're from, you belong to the nation of Israel. You know, from Judah all the way to Issachar. You so-called blacks all the way down to you Mexicans, so-called. All right, we're all one nation at the end of the day. Okay, so I'm gonna read that again. It says, Samaria shall become desolate, for she has rebelled against her power. And who is our God? Our power is Yahweh wa Yahweh Shai. All right, Yahweh being the Most High, Yahweh Shai being his son. Okay, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And you people still deny your power. All right, especially amongst the Latin tribe. You still worship and praise a so-called white Jesus. Okay, Caesar Borgia. All right. And that's the reason why you're desolate. That's the reason why you live in the projects. That's why you live in El Barrio. That's why you live in the ghettos. That's why you live on the reservations, man. You know, and you know, a lot of you are addicted to drugs and alcohol, man, and can't seem to progress in life. Okay, it says they shall fall by the sword. All right, and that's what happened. You know, the so-called white man came over here, raped, robbed, and murdered our people, and took this land and stole our nationality. It reads on to say, their infants shall be dashed in pieces, and their women with child shall be ripped up. You know, and that's the point right there, man. You know, I'll read that again. It says, their infants shall be dashed in pieces. Okay? And the infants is talking about them, you know, your babies. All right? They passed laws. I don't know if it's on a federal level or it's just on a state level that, you know, that women who are pregnant in their third trimester of their pregnancy, they're able to get an abortion. Okay, all right. Now, in the third trimester of a woman's pregnancy, the baby is already pretty much fully developed, man. You know, pretty much fully developed. Though you have women who are 6 months pregnant that can actually deliver a baby, and that child can still wind up being growing, you know, to a full child and adult. All right, call it premature births. Okay, but they're allowing these women to get abortions at that stage of their pregnancy, man. You know, even though it's unlawful for you to abort a baby at any stage of pregnancy, whether it's in the first trimester, second trimester, or third trimester. All right, but this is all in the scriptures, man. You know, so once they sucking that infant baby out of your womb, okay, what do you think they do with the fetus or the developed baby? You know, they trash them, man. You know, they trash them. They dissect them. They do all kind of madness to them, man. You know, the abortion stage, the way they stick a damn needle through through the baby's vertebrae, and you know, and snap it and snip it, and they do all kind of shit, man. They dismantle them fetuses, man, them premature babies, I should say. All right, that's why it says their infant child. It says their infants shall be dashed in pieces, and their women with child shall be ripped up. You know, and that happens a lot with our women, man. You know, being pregnant and having C-section. The modern day of ripping these women up are basically the C-section and the cesarean cut when they're giving birth.